Alright, guys. It is December the 27th, the year of our Lord, 2024. The talk tonight is about everybody trying to tell everybody else they're not right with God because X, Y, and Z. I've been hearing this a lot here lately. Everybody knows spiritually something's going on, and a lot of people think Jesus is coming to earth next year. Very, 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 very soon. What may be very soon to God or Jesus could be 1,000 years for us. Okay? So, understand that when people are talking like this, I'm not trying to disprove anything, and I'm not trying to prove anything. All I'm saying is we need to speak with a little bit more clarity, so there's no misunderstandings, there's no preempted jumping to conclusions, and then everybody gets let down, say, well, see, I told you Jesus doesn't exist, God's not there, he doesn't do these things, he doesn't do that. Listen, I don't need someone telling me I'm going to hell because I don't worship the way you do. I don't need somebody telling me the only way to God is through the Bible. That's not how you get to God. I don't need someone telling me I'm going to hell because I didn't put $20 in their pocket. As a matter of fact, today there was a video I ran across. A pastor was bragging about how big his house is. How he paid cash $2 million for his house. I'm like, that's not good. That's almost like you're bragging that you took money from the church. And in my opinion, that's not the way a pastor should be doing things. But that how he makes his money is his way. I'm not judging, but bragging to a congregation that you have 40,000 foot house and you paid $2 million for it, and that he's the only pastor in the United States that has a house like that. I'm just dumbfounded. That's not a humble person. Is he going to hell? Probably not. Who knows? He might. I don't know. All I'm saying is if we are supposed to be understanding like Jesus is, or was when he roamed the earth, Jesus didn't own a house. Am I saying every Christian should be homeless? Nope. What I am trying to say is this. Did Jesus brag about his wealth? Did he brag about how many people he healed? Did he brag about how he saved so many souls? No. Why are we? That's my question. Why is everybody so willing to brag about how big and fancy their house, luxury cars they have, while they're preaching about God? See, me going into a church like that, I would have stood up and walked out. I would have left and not come back. Because to me, he was bragging that he has this big fancy house that the church helped him get. And he didn't care about the poor people that suffered to get him that house. And that may be my flaw in life, is I care a lot about the people that doesn't have much from when I was growing up. My family, we didn't have much. We struggled. Mom struggled to put gifts under the Christmas tree every year. So, you know, I get it. But when you're expected to put your paycheck into an offering plate so the pastor can get rich, and then you don't have food in your house to feed your kids, there's a problem with that. Oh, you'll be rewarded if you just give the money. Yes, you will be rewarded by God, but at the cost of your kids suffering. God doesn't want your kids to suffer. And a lot of people understand that. Some people don't. And that's kind of where things are at right now. Everybody's wanting everybody to donate. I mean, I am bombarded with stuff on my phone of, oh, send money here, buy this, do that. It's really crazy. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did buy something off one of those, and it's a earbud thing that's supposed to translate other languages so you can understand what they're saying. So yeah, I bought one of those. But as long as it works, I'm fine with it. But it's when people are just trying to blatantly rip you off, make a profit, and scam you. And unfortunately, the church has gotten involved in this. There was a youth trip for somebody that was supposed to go to a thing, and it was literally like $800 for the week for the person. The church turned around and told them they had to come up with $1,600 or they couldn't go. So they did a lot of events and stuff, selling cookies and all these things. Only half of them were able to come up with the money. Where the problem came in is somewhere it leaked out that the stay was only $800, and that included food, room and board, everything for a week. They were only down there for 4 days. And the rest of the money went to, guess who? The pastor. So they basically scammed the kids. I have a problem with that. Some of you may not. I do. I'm not telling you this to get you to stop going to churches. I'm not telling you this to put a black mark on the church. I'm saying this happens so pastors like that can have money to do what they want to do with. When you prophesize Jesus to make money, I have no respect for you. And that's what a lot of people are doing right now. And I pray for your souls. I pray you see the wrong you're doing, because God and Jesus sees it. They're not turning a blind eye to you. So when you're doing something wrong, they're going to see it. And then you want to act like God couldn't see it. And you're going to have problems. So being a true Christian, faults and all, means that you admit to the mistakes you make. Not to yourself, but to God. I don't need anybody else's forgiveness. I don't need anybody else's disappointment, disapproval. I don't need anybody else's permission. I only need Jesus Christ's permission to enter the gates of heaven to see his Father. So when people are telling you, oh, you didn't pray right, you're going to hell. Oh, you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right. Look at me, I got this big fancy house. You're not doing it right. Are they doing it right? Because they may not be. And they may know they're not doing it right, but they want to bring as many people down with them as they can. This is why I'm saying you should pay attention to where you go. When a pastor starts bragging about his $2 million mansion and all this other stuff, you need to step back and reevaluate. The church is going to be in for a rude awakening this next year. There is going to be some major things happen, and people are going to be shocked and appalled at what's going on. So understand that what is going on, or what is going to happen, if they're not meant to be at that pulpit, they will not stay there. If God did not appoint them there, they will not be there. That is what's happening. God is going to clean things up, and it's up to us to keep it clean. All right? That's where we're going. I don't think God cares if you like it or not. I don't think God cares if you want it a specific way. God's going to do it his way, which is best for us. not for which is best for one individual. So that's the way that's going to go. And if you're not down with that, maybe you need to do a lot of soul searching, because I don't think you're in the right place with God. So I know tonight's message is probably going to ruffle a lot of feathers and people are going to get upset. By all means, that is your right to do as an individual. But hear this: 90% of the time, what makes people angry is the truth, especially when it hits close to home. So, am I going to apologize for anything I say on these things? Never will. These are my thoughts, and I'm not holding things back just because it may offend one person. Sorry. That's not what I'm going to be doing on this. So, understand, anytime you try to do good, there is always going to be evil trying to unravel the good that you did. Yes, I've gotten people telling me I sound stupid on this channel. I've gotten people telling me that I'm defaming people and blah blah blah, and I'm like, no. Telling the truth is not defaming someone. Speaking your mind is not defaming. Not like the news when they defamed Donald Trump and called him a Nazi. And all of us Trump supporters, Nazis. So that's defaming. I haven't done that to anybody. So before you start saying I'm doing all these illegal things, you might want to understand what you're talking about before you talk about it. That's all I'm going to say. I don't take threats lightly. You threaten me, I have a tendency to take those very seriously. And I don't handle threats very well, because I'll call you out on your threat. So there is that. But I know quite a few things. I'm not a master in anything, but all around I do know quite a few things. Talked to a lot of attorneys, a lot of judges. I know some stuff. Am I an attorney? No. But it doesn't cost anything to pick up a phone for free advice. And believe it or not, some attorneys will give you their time for free. So that's one way you can educate yourself. But I think we need to get out of the blaming stage and the lust of money. As far as the church goes, I think we need to walk away from all that stuff, and we need to start doing what the church was meant to do. Did you know the church was actually meant to be in politics? It was in politics until 56, I think. I think it was right after or right in the middle of World War II. May have been after World War II, before the Vietnam War. But the church was in politics back then. And the result of that is what we have today. When you take church out of the schools, that's what you have today. When you take God out of things, all you're left with is lies and corruption. And that's where the problem's coming in. God should be in everything we do, every step of the way, in all walks of life. Your marriage, your raising your kids, your jobs, your everything you do. But for some reason, a lot of us have put it in our heads that God's not going to bless me because I don't deserve it. God's not going to help me with these things because I don't deserve it. Let me explain this to you guys in a husband situation. Now, my wife's going to be a little upset with me. I'll put this out on here, but it's something that needs to be said. My wife was in an abusive relationship, her first marriage. He did some things to her. She has depression, anxiety, and PTSD now because of it. So I really have to pay attention to what I do because I don't want to trigger anything that can make her go down those problems. And I've sat down and asked her, I said, do you know the difference between love and abuse? And she's like, yes, I know the difference between my love and what he was saying was love. And I said, okay, but do you understand where the abuse came in? And she said, yeah. And I said, okay. I've never raised my hand to hit my wife at all. I will never do it. I don't raise my voice to my wife. She makes me mad. I will give her a look and I will walk away. So I don't raise my voice to her because that's not right to her. You can call me a simp, you can call me whatever you want, but I respect my wife. Even when she gets mad and loses her temper with me and I feel disrespected, I know it's not me. It's not at me. There's other things going on with her. I get it. But having to help hold those pieces together takes a lot. But at the same time, it's not me holding the pieces together. I thought I was at the beginning. But it's God holding those pieces together. And He's doing it through me. So, when people tell me I'm going to hell for all these things because I'm doing one good deed that doesn't admonish all the bad things I'm doing throughout the day, okay. How many bad things has he done that day? Has he asked for forgiveness the entire day? No. But yet it's okay for people to judge me. This is where I'm having a problem with a lot of church people. The Christians that are homeless, poor, that don't go to churches, those are the ones I listen to more than I would anybody else in a church. because they walk the life of Christ the best they can. They're not sitting at a podium thinking they're above everybody else. And I'm not saying all pastors act that way, but I know quite a few that have. There was a story. A guy went to church with his wife and forgot to turn his phone on silent. He got an important call from work, disrupted service. The pastor started screaming and hollering at him for disrespecting his service. People in church started screaming and hollering at him for disrupting service. His wife on the car ride home was talking about how embarrassed she was and screamed and hollered at him for him disrupting service. So later that afternoon, he went to the bar to try to, unwind, and knocked over a glass. Spilt beer on everybody else, on a few other people, and broke the glass. In that bar, he thought he was going to get scolded again. He's like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. The waitress grabbed a towel, walked around and said, son, are you okay? Everything all right? Everybody else that was around came over and patted him on the shoulder and said, it's all good, man. You're fine. Where was God at? He wasn't in the church. Till this day, that dude still goes to the bar every Sunday. So, it's amazing where people can find humbleness and where it's least likely to be is where you most expect it. So just remember that, guys. Be humble. Someone makes a mistake, don't call them out for it. You've made plenty of yourself. Unless you want to be called out for every mistake you've made, be humble. You guys have a good night. Be safe. Have a good weekend. I'll talk to you guys next week. Remember, pray and God loves you.